Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reality Football Week. What is it? 20?
I
Week
think so.
20.
hmm
My goodness. Hey, Fish, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man.
We're a little light this week.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, everyone, my name is Michael Skinner, aka Skinbone. We have Brian Fisher, aka Fish, here with us. We are light two folks tonight. Mr. Coach John Cooper still doing his family matters and taking care of business there. And Mr. Keith Porter, aka Porterhouse, underwent some knee surgery yesterday, so he's recovering at home. Everything went well from what we hear. But hello, folks. Welcome to week number 20, the AFC and National League. National League, that's baseball. The NFC Championship weekend. We are four fellows from Kenmore, lifelong friends. Wanted to spend time together talking about what we love best, which is football. You're going to hear football talk. You're not going to hear reality football or politically correctness or anything like that. We say what we mean. We mean what we say. We talk a lot of smack about everybody, including each other and ourselves. So if you're new to the show, welcome. Mr. Fisher, can you tell everybody out there where they're hearing us from currently and where they can find us elsewhere?
Sure thing, Skinner. By the way, with Keith and Coop being out, it's sort of the equivalent of three people being out.
Yeah, that's
It'd be
true.
it. Yeah, that's the joke on
Between
Keith. He's not here to defend himself right now. So when he can
between
kick us.
him, two of him and two of John's personality, I think it might even be four.
Yeah, that's that's about right. Sorry, Keith. We had to have some fun with you. You're not here. You can't defend yourself right now, so you can
That's
kick us
right.
with your new knee later. Uh, So yeah, you might be watching us right now. You might be listening to us right now. If you could be listening to us on WMVU.org, we're on internet radio, global internet radio, Monday nights 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern through the football season. And stay tuned. By the way, we might be doing some more stuff and something a little bit different in the off season, off football season. So stay tuned for some details there. So keep your ears on 7 to 8 p.m. WMVU.org and our page and all of that going forward. So keep up to date with us there. You might be watching us on our Facebook page at Reality Football One. You can look for us on Facebook as well through our hashtag and catch our posts at hashtag Reality Football One. YouTube channel Reality Football, or again look on YouTube hashtag Reality Football or Reality Football One. We use both, and you can find our channel that way to give us a subscribe there. We're also out on Twitter at Reality Football 3. So it's at Reality Football, FOOTBAL 1L number 3, or look for our Twitter name, Reality Football 1. Instagram, Reality Football _330. And finally, TikTok at Reality Football. Actually, not finally. We're on podcast as well. So we put a podcast version of our show out there on most major podcast platforms.
Mhm.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, and others. Give us a subscribe on a podcast. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, giving us a rating and review helps the show, helps others find the show. Again, more of a NFL talk and humor show like Skinner described. So that's where we are out there. Did I say TikTok? TikTok at Reality Football. We put a few things out there every so often too. So young people like looking at 50-year-old men.
Yeah,
That's what we hear.
sure.
That's what they look for. 50-year-old dudes like dads, talking. They don't get enough of that at home.
Right.
So
And the
we're
more stupid we act, the better they are.
That's right. That's right. So, Skinner, last week we had the divisional week games. A couple decent games, couple kind of boring games. So we thought we would kind of recap those a little bit and then talk about the games coming up Sunday. And that's why we're shooting tonight, by the way, because we want to actually sit down and enjoy football on Sunday. And
Right.
we both got
Yeah.
family obligations and friend obligations this weekend, so this is our best time to do this on Friday evening the 22nd right now. So
right. For you those that don't know, we do normally record on Sunday evening, in between the afternoon games and the evening game there on NBC. I wanted to circle back real quick.
sure.
It still amazes me where we started just 12, 16, 18 months ago.
Hmm.
We were on Facebook, just trying to figure things out, and then listening to you go through all the social media and where we're at and how you can find us now. It's pretty amazing. I don't know about you, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think I can. I'm having a ball. Who knew that 50 somethings or almost 50, like I will be this year, could do this and still have fun after 2 seasons, and I'm looking forward to more things to come. With that being said, let's just go right into that first game on Saturday last week was Green Bay and the Los Angeles Rams. And
Yeah.
all I can say is, and I've said it in our group, in a group that I don't care who they're playing, I don't see Green Bay losing, and they just amazed me on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Donald was hurt. I mean, certainly that was a factor for the Rams. And we also know Jared Goff was, coming in. And, I think it's pretty courageous to play with it. You just had a thumb surgery to get out there and still play. And,
Right.
but, but despite that, I tend to agree with you. Even if at full strength, I don't know that the Rams at full strength right now would be able to beat the Packers at the way they're playing right now. So,
No,
we agree.
I don't even think they would have came within 10, even with the healthy Donald and Goff, truthfully, with the way they played on Saturday.
Yeah, they had give the Green Bay offensive linemen some credit there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I probably did, but I don't know that I remember seeing Aaron Rodgers under pressure practically that whole game.
And no, and a couple rollouts, they may have had a trailer sitting there in front of them. But other than that, in the pocket itself, no, I don't recall. That front line, that O-line had a heck of a game. And when you give somebody like Aaron Rodgers that much time to throw, he's going to go through his progressions and then go back to his first one, and that first one's probably open with as much time as he had.
And, he definitely has some big old cheese-eating linemen up there protecting him, that's for sure. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, 23 out of 36, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he's got a run game this year, with Aaron Jones, 99 yards rush, and Jamal Williams. I said Adams. Jamal Williams had 65 yards rushing. So, that's just too many weapons and too much going on offensively to stop Green Bay. I don't see. We'll talk more about it, but we've talked about this too. I don't see anybody beating Green Bay and getting the Super Bowl this year.
No, when they're getting 150 plus yards from 2 running backs, it kind of reminds you of our local team, Cleveland Browns, with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Yeah, I mean, how do you defend that? And then when you got the arm of an Aaron Rodgers and the football IQ that he has, I mean, that's a lethal weapon when it comes to football, if you ask me.
Now, do you think, there's a lot of rumors, a lot of tension. People are speculating, saying all kinds of stuff about Goff and the coach. Is that relationship soured? Are they going to make a change? What's going on there? Do you have any insight there or speculation there?
I don't. I don't see a coaching change in LA. I mean, he's young, he's hungry. He was.
I don't mean the coach. I don't mean.
Are you talking about? You're talking about Goff.
Yeah. Do they go a different way, or what do you think?
3 years ago or 2 years ago, I think it was, I thought they were going a different direction, and then they stuck with them, and here they are back in the division games. So I don't know if he's the long-term answer in LA. He knows the system. He's a talented quarterback. I don't know head upstairs with what's been going on between him and the coach and him and and the front office the last couple of years. There may be a change. We know the coach ain't going anywhere.
No.
He's solidified himself in LA as the man for the short term. and they're only going to get better over the next couple of years. Whether that's with golf or not, we'll see. But I don't know. I don't think they will.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It's like it's a lot of just rumor and junk right now. I mean, it's what last year they had a lot of injuries and stuff. They didn't make the playoffs. This year you get to the divisional round. What a couple years ago you were in the Super Bowl with this kid. So and get everybody back, everybody healthy. I think they'll make another run at it for another year or two, then maybe see where they are from there.
Right.
If they can't get past the first or second round, then maybe that's the time to start thinking about where you're at and what you may have to do and rebuild or whatever it is with the current roster. Yeah, so I'm with you there.
Right, because you don't want to be Cincinnati with what's his name, the Dallas
Burrow.
quarterback.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
Joe Burrow.
Right.
Andy Dalton. I mean,
Right,
he was a very good regular season quarterback, but he went into hiding when the playoffs came around. So Goff very well could turn into that kind of quarterback too, and that's not what they need in LA.
Yeah.
LA is a town that they seek championships, and no matter what the sport is, so they won't tolerate that. Yeah. It's not good enough just to make the playoffs in LA.
Yep,
so,
agree.
Give them another year, see if they get healthy, and see what happens in 21. But I don't see past 22 that, with the same kind of year as this year, that golf will be back.
Yeah. All right. We had a Saturday evening game. The Bills 17, Ravens 3.
And I have to apologize, I just dropped my pen. I fell asleep in the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. That was
the late game.
I was debating it, and you mentioned it on your readout. It was indeed 3 to 3.5. And I watched the game with Allie, my lovely girlfriend, and it's just like both of us are kind of like, is this a good defensive game or a bad offensive game so far? And it was kind of a little bit of both, I think.
I think you had a really good defensive game for Baltimore and a bad offensive game for Baltimore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they held. Let me rephrase that. It was a good defensive game for Baltimore and a bad offensive game for Baltimore. I got those backwards.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't do nothing in the first half. Well, they didn't do anything in the second half either, for that matter. But they stopped Lamar Jackson. They had 34 total rushing yards for the game. And I heard some things in the post game is that they had nowhere to run. They had the edges secured. They had the gaps with the linebackers. The gaps were covered. There was nowhere for them to go. And then a lot of people always say with Lamar Jackson, if you make him throw the ball, you've got a chance to win. And sure enough, after that, they made some adjustments there at halftime. Now, I woke up right after halftime, and I ended up watching the rest of the game, but I got my nap in, I think, in the second quarter because it was just methodical. Bills playing Bills football. They took what they got, but they had that 101-yard pick six, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I don't remember that last one, which I think they said was in 1991. Does that sound right? It was a while ago.
It was a while ago. I can't remember the year, but you're right. It's you're not going to beat that record, of course. But yeah, it was quite a while ago. You're right.
But yeah, 101-yard pick six, and that was pretty exciting to watch, no matter what team you root for, to see something about that. I know our Baltimore fan didn't particularly care for that play very much, but the general football fan would. It's pretty exciting to watch that. Hate to see Lamar Jackson get hurt. When I saw the play, I said to Mike Jr., our post-production guy for our show, I sent him a message and said, is that Lamar conveniently getting hurt after? And that was the play where they hiked the ball 15 feet in the air and 10 feet past him.
Yeah.
I thought for a second that it was conveniently, but then when I watched the replay and he went backwards with his head and he hit the ground pretty hard. So I rescinded my thought process with that, and I've not heard anything other than he's doing fine now. So was that should I feel bad for feeling that way?
No, I don't think there was anything malicious there or anything like that. I'm with you. Yeah. And Yeah, he definitely did ding his head pretty. I don't know. I'd like to think he would have came back in if he could have.
To me, my first thought was he was throwing his hands up. I'm done
I
after
mean,
that play, because that pretty much sealed the deal when they did that, because it was a fourth down on it was a 2 yard line, fourth down. They were already down 2 touchdowns, and I think that kind of sealed the deal. But yeah, I hate to talk bad about any particular player, but it just seemed weird.
I think he's a competitor. I don't know. I mean, he did come back in the Cleveland game, and
Right.
he didn't need to in that game, and he obviously wanted to come in and came in and won that game for Baltimore to keep them in the playoff hunt.
Right.
Frankly, so
Got to give him that. He did do
yeah.
that.
Hey, and that kid, the rookie, he didn't look all that terrible. Tyler Huntley. I mean, he's a rookie.
Huntley. Right.
That's a tough spot to bring a kid into, but he made a couple of throws and he missed that one throw that was a sure touchdown, and he knew
Right.
it too. So that's
Right.
a tough spot for anybody.
That's
to
just
come in.
rust.
Yeah.
That's rust and not having game time speed. That's got to be a tough situation for him, not coming in pretty much but a couple times all year. What do you think? They said he threw 4 passes the entire year, I think. And then he comes
Something like
into
that.
this. Yeah, he comes in there and he's in a big spot. They need a big, huge drive to get back in the game, and that's a tough one to handle for anybody.
And you mentioned the snap too. Allie and I talked about this too. I don't remember watching a game like that, even a regular season game, and seeing that many poor snaps from the center between the center and the quarterback. The long snap, that guy for sure. I mean, I feel bad for him. There's no way in the world that he's going to be a long snapper for Baltimore again, probably after this season with some of the poor snaps there that were very costly in that game. So that's I've never seen it. It was at least 3 or 4 in that game that were mishandled, a couple over his head or something that he couldn't get to.
There was the 2 over his head that I saw for sure, and there was at least 1 or 2 that he had to go to the right. Mm-hmm. One of them was actually a one-handed grab to keep that from going behind him.
Yeah.
So, bad game. He had the yips because he's pretty good center, pretty good blocking center. He shores up that front line for Baltimore. But, if you can't get the ball to the quarterback, you're not going to last, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then certainly the Bills had not the best game, but the defense, as you mentioned, stepped up when they had to, and maybe that was their. If you're going to have a clunker game in the playoffs and you still win, I mean you're putting yourself in a pretty good spot next week against the Chiefs, which I know we'll talk more about. So,
right.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get back to the Cleveland game, we had the Sunday evening game, Tampa Bay 30. Over the Saints 20, and looks like may have nothing I think is positive yet, but it looks like that may have put Drew Brees out into the sunset and into television or whatever he's going to do next. I mean, he didn't officially say that, I guess, just yet, but sure looked that way after the game.
Yeah, see, I called this the swan song game because I thought the losing quarterback's probably going to retire. Even with Tom Brady, still, they say he's still got a couple years, but his legacy, he doesn't want to put that in jeopardy by losing, especially in a game like that against New Orleans. Give them credit. They played well. Tampa Bay, some questionable calls. There were a lot of people. I got friends and family down in the Tampa Bay area questioning the calls that were made during the game, but, give them credit. They did what they had to do to win. Drew Brees, class act. We knew him from Purdue, being in Big Ten country that we're in for college. So we've seen him for pretty much a lot of our adult life, for that matter. And Tom Brady, for that matter, he was with what we tend to call that team up north. So we've seen both those players for quite a few years, and nothing but a class act. Never got in trouble. Never heard anything negative out of him. I would love to see him play one more, give him one more chance. They've got a good team. They just had a bad game, I think. Bad day of. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
you can't have a bad game in the playoffs, and that's what happened.
yeah, I'm with you. I mean, both him and Brady weren't really on their game. It didn't seem like, yeah, but Brady made a couple more throws when he needed to, and the Tampa Bay defense stepped up there too. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm with you, Drew Brees. I mean, he, like you say, Purdue College. He went to the San Diego for a while, and then they got rid of
Mm-hmm.
him. Went to the Saints, and really was an inspiration in that city when they went through the terrible, hurricane and flooding and all of that, and won the
Right.
Super Bowl. That was a nice story. So he had
Mm-hmm.
that dumb comment. Was it earlier last year about the flag or something, like
It was
kneeling and
like the
stuff?
last
And
year or the year before. That was the only negative you heard from him.
yeah, I think that was
I
last year.
remember, and I hate to say that that's something you remember, and then you remember the Oprah trying to take that scar or that birthmark he has, and her trying to wipe that off on him. Those are the kind of things you're going to remember with him. And if that's the worst of it with Oprah Winfrey, so be it. But yeah, he made that bad judgment by making a statement that was out of his lane per se, and he owned up to it and corrected himself, and which he did it in a manner that I had forgotten about it, truthfully. But
I said I got a couple of interesting stats up here on NFL.com about that game, by the way. So the Saints are the first team in NFL history with 11 plus wins in 4 straight seasons to not reach a Super Bowl in that span. How about that?
wow, that's amazing. 11 win game, 4 seasons in a row.
Yep.
Think about that one.
That's tough. Of course, now they had the terrible non-pass interference call when they lost to the Rams. That was a tough one, and there was some other calls that didn't quite go their way. So that's a tough run. And then the Buccaneers on the flip side, the first team in NFL history to be outscored by an opponent by 40 plus games in the regular season, and then beat that team in the playoffs. So, nice turnaround there for the Bucs to adjust and to get that victory and move on to the NFC Championship. So it'll be interesting. First time in the playoffs ever that Tom Brady will play Aaron Rodgers. Of course, that makes sense with them being in opposite conferences, but they never made it to the Super Bowl to play against each other. So how about that?
That's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. I saw someone they were talking about the temperatures of the Tampa Bay, Green Bay. Forecast for Sunday's temperatures: 29 in Green Bay, 76 in Tampa Bay.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Can you believe that? And then I showed that to Marcy, and this was before we got on camera. And I'm like, look at this. And I said, guess where the game's being played? And she goes, it's up north, isn't it? I said, yeah. They're in Cheese Town area. So that's gonna be a fun game. We'll talk about that one here in a minute. Give our predictions for that. But and then we got that last game, the Kansas City Chiefs. What was that? 22-17 over the Cleveland Browns. Not many people gave.
You got baseball in the mind, I guess, huh?
I did. I almost said the Indians, didn't I?
Yeah.
But no one gave Cleveland a chance. Yours truly, I didn't think – I wanted them to be competitive as a Cleveland Browns fan. I didn't think they had enough to hold that Kansas City offense. Some say it was one play that caused the Browns to not win that game, but you can't put yourself in that position where one call, good or bad, dictates the win-loss column. But overall, it was an exciting game. Pins and needles the entire time. I know, talking with family that are all Browns fans. Mike, my son, out in Seattle, he's probably the only Browns fan in that local area, although there's Browns backers everywhere. It was a fun time. It really was. It brought back memories of us being kids back in the 80s when the Browns were a legitimate Super Bowl contending, even though they never made it. But that stretch with Bernie Kosar and Brian Sipe and
you're right. I mean, that play in question, we all seen it. Was it the Rashard Higgins catches the ball, and this is the first half. So
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to forget that, it's like, was that towards the end? No, it was the first half, and they had a chance to, I think it was 13-6 or 13-3 at the time, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was yeah, no, that's wrong. It was yeah, that's right. That's right. And then they he dives for the end zone. The guy for the Chiefs throws his body in there. There's all kinds of debate. Did he lead with his helmet? Did he helmet to helmet? Either way, Higgins fumbles the ball into the end zone, goes through the end zone, and the rule is a interesting rule that results in a touchback for the other team. Even though if you fumble the ball before the end zone and it goes out of bounds and nobody gets it, it goes back to the offense, right?
Right. It
It's just
does.
one of
At
the
the place it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, I would tend to think that they at least will revisit that rule, if nothing else, including will they allow potential targeting to be a reviewable call. That's probably more touchy. I don't know if we'll see that, but I think they'll certainly review that. Not that you see it all the time. It's just a bad break for Cleveland. I think the guy. I don't think he was trying to hit Higgins in the helmet. He threw his body in there, and he did lead head first. He was just trying to make a play and make something happen and stop him from getting in the end zone.
The initial contact was helmet to helmet. Unfortunately,
yeah.
You saw what he was trying to do. He was trying to prevent the touchdown, and unfortunately, it was he left his feet, helmet to helmet. Typically that's a no-brainer. That's a targeting call, no matter if it's college level or pro level. I heard the announcer saying, well, it's the referees are there in real time and they're just paying attention more to the ball. You can't really use that as an argument, in my opinion. You see it was right in front of them, that whole scenario. Even in real time, anybody could have saw that. But you can't put yourself in a position to lose a game over one play.
Right.
And you ask New Orleans Saints, they'll tell you the same thing. Yeah, we lost going to the Super Bowl over one play, but we put ourselves in that position. And so, Mahomes was not Mahomes for most of the time that he was out there. He looked frazzled for the first time.
Well, he was hurt. I mean, he got you could see him limping before he got the neck or neck injury. I mean, he was not throwing well off his foot. So yeah, he definitely was hobbled.
I think it was a left big toe. They call it. They didn't think it was turf toe, but it had something to do with that left toe, which is his planting foot. So he just looked. Whether it was the toe, whether it was the defense was playing well, he did look frazzled, and that's the first time that I can recall in any big game. Watch it, because usually he's got ice in his veins for the most part. So kudos to the Browns for giving him a game. But any news on him this week? I know I said earlier the week that if he's not there, don't give them a chance against the Bills. But have you heard much?
I just saw right before we shot here that he did do a walkthrough, but there's no official game designation yet. He did pass his protocols and all that stuff. I mean, there's no way in the world he won't play, right?
I don't think so.
Championship. I mean, he'll get out there and play. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be unless there's something going on that we just don't know about, as far as something more serious. I think he'll get out there and play. And Chad Henne for the Chiefs. I mean, give him credit. I mean, the guy hadn't played a playoff game and made a couple big plays when he had to. And the third and long run or whatever he had there, and then
that 13-yard run that gave him a first down there at the end. Browns can't have that happen.
That was tough. And then that fourth down, that surprised everybody when looked like they were going to go for a hard count. And he, got the first down there, and that pretty much sealed it for Cleveland. But, Keith said it well. It was, he said, Cleveland, looked like they belonged to be in the divisional game. You looked at the, between like the Rams and the Packers, the Rams did not look like they belonged on the same field with the Packers this past week. Now, obviously, it's no different, but Cleveland hung in there with the world champs. Obviously Mahomes got hurt, whatever. but they hung in there and they had a chance down to the last possession of the Chiefs. They had to get back in that and to win that game. So, the future looks bright for Cleveland. We talked off camera during the week that they need some defensive help. But looks like they finally have a head coach that's not a joke. Stefanski wins Coach of the Year, right? So that was pretty.
USA
cool.
Today or the U.S. What was it? It wasn't the. Yeah, it was one of them that they gave him the nod, and deservedly so.
Yeah. So the good leadership, the team is rising. So Cleveland, should be, all things considered, they should be the favorite of the division next year. That'd be a long time since we're able to say that. Back to the days you mentioned with Kosar, probably is the last time Cleveland's favored to win the division, and they'll make a run at it again next year. So we'll see. It's a wait till next year again in Cleveland, but at least there's.
It's a different feel, though. Yeah, absolutely different feel this time around.
Yeah.
Coach of the Year was Stefanski. I think he deserves the official award. I think is the NFL award. I don't see how he doesn't get it. Not that Sean McVay up there in Buffalo doesn't, or McDermott rather, doesn't get the nod in Buffalo because he's done an amazing job in that town.
Sure.
I wouldn't want to pick that one this year. Those two coaches, I think, are neck and neck, and I'll be happy for either one, truthfully. Kudos to the Browns. So that leaves us with Green Bay versus Tampa Bay.
And
305, and that's up in the tundra of Wisconsin. And then Tampa Bay against Kansas City and KC.
Buffalo, Kansas City.
I'm sorry, Buffalo against Kansas City, and that's going to be played in Kansas City with or without Mahomes. For all intents and purposes, we might as well just say he's going to be there. We'll see at what percentage. I'm worried about that toe because that's not something you could just, stay off it for a couple of days and it's going to get better. Usually that's a kind of injury that takes weeks or months to heal properly. So let's hope that he's at least at a 90% strength. Mahomes is still better than half of the quarterbacks in the NFL, if you ask me. So who do you like? I'm just going to jump right into it. Who do you like? What do you see happening this weekend?
I think my edge would be Buffalo. I think with Cleveland, there's no real home field advantage. So that is a factor, wherever they're playing. But I think the Bills look. Josh Allen looking great. Stephon Diggs, having a terrific season coming over to Buffalo.
Breakout year, if you ask me.
Yeah, for sure. So, and then obviously you got some of the injury questions for Kansas City with Mahomes and everything. So. Yeah, Mahomes will be there. He'll be ready to play. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be close. I don't know. I just have a feeling. Buffalo gets back to the Super Bowl first time in 25 years, something like that, since they had their 4 consecutive run. So, and at this point, for me personally, I'm rooting for Buffalo. It's, I tend to go with a city that hasn't either won it at all or just. Sentimental reasons or whatever it is. It'd be nice for those fans to have something to cheer about there since Cleveland got knocked out. So that's who I'm going with here. It's the first and second rated offense in the league, I believe, something like that.
Well, no, Green Bay is the number one offense.
Okay, so it must be the AFC.
Yeah, probably the AFC.
Yeah. So that's what I got. What do you think?
On that game, I think I said it. No matter if Mahomes is playing or not, I see Buffalo coming out on this one. I'm thinking it's going to be a 31-27 score. There's going to be some points put on the board. Not sure it's going to get much higher than that, but they won 17-3 against Baltimore, and we thought that was going to be a blazing score. So, I think Buffalo this year looks the part for the AFC. Kansas City, nothing against them. They've had a good run. Hurt quarterback. I think the Browns may have showed a little bit on how to defend. They defended Tyreek Hill pretty well last week. So I think Buffalo, with their defensive coordinator, I forget who it is up there, I think they're going to have a game plan that they're going to try to slow that running or that passing attack down. Kelsey, they'll keep everything in front of them. And I see a 31-27, 30-20, 30-28, something like that. It's going to be a close game. I think, but Buffalo's going to take it on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, good for the Bills. I just saw a stat too. NFL, the Bills have won 8 straight games, including the playoffs, tied for their second longest streak in history. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to remember the last team they lost to this year. It's not coming to me all of a sudden. But no, anyway. So who do you got? Green Bay and Tampa Bay. That's billed as Rodgers versus Brady. Like you said earlier in the show, that this is the first time they've played each other in the playoffs, which is not surprising. One was AFC his entire career until this year, and Rodgers has been in the NFC his entire career.
Yeah, it would have had to have been a Super Bowl, right? So,
which they have not met each other in the Super Bowl yet.
Yeah, I just think Aaron Rodgers is playing at a whole different level right now. Not that he doesn't very frequently. It's just that it just seems a little bit different this year. He's got we mentioned this earlier. He's got a good defense. He's got a good run game. He's got seems to have a great connection with the coach. There's no tension there, like he had with McCarthy and stuff. I mean, he seems to be having a good time. He's at the top of the peak of his game right now. I think that this season it's he's got I don't know how many more seasons and he could play at a level like this without injury and everything like that. He's been very lucky for the most part in his career. He's been hurt a couple of times, but I don't know. I just see him. The Packers. I don't even know if it's going to be that close. It could be. It would not surprise me if it was a 15. Plus victory for the Packers, so that's what I got. What do you think?
Interesting you say that because I don't see the game being close either.
Yeah.
Brady's had a good run recently, but he's had some clunkers this year that showed his age, and I think playing up in Green Bay, I don't care if there's only 6,000 fans in that stadium, they're still got home field advantage in Green Bay. Unlike any other stadium across the country, no matter if there's 6,000 fans or 60,000 fans, you've got home field advantage when you're playing in the tundra. So with that being said, and everything you said, I'm not going to repeat what you're saying. Aaron Rodgers is at the peak of the very top of his game, and it's amazing that all the years that he's played, that at this time of his career, he's at the peak. Some make it in their early 30s, and then as soon as they hit 32, 34, they start to go down. And here's Aaron Rodgers at 37, 38 at the peak of his career. So does that mean his downfall is going to be quick? Or is he going to stay at this for another year or two and then just ride into the sunset at the top of his game? Kind of like what Denver, John Elway.
Yeah.
How he did it. That he kept his legacy intact by leaving earlier than later. And some say that that's what Brady did, is he hasn't left soon enough. With that being said, I got Green Bay. I said it after the LA game last weekend that there's not a team that's left that's, I think, got what it takes to beat Green Bay right now. Not the way they played on Saturday, not the way they've played all year.
It just feels like they're a moment. It feels like they're a moment this season that, they're. I mean, give all these teams, all the teams left. I mean, give them credit. I mean, all did. They ended the season on a high note. They worked. They didn't fall into the playoffs. I mean, they all.
Right.
These are for the Well, at least three of the better teams consistently throughout the entire season, and Tampa Bay rose when they had to with
Right.
a lot of factors there. But yeah,
Yeah, because it's. Go ahead.
No, I was just say it's just that's it. It just feels like their moment, Green Bay.
Yeah, we had our power rankings throughout the year, and we had KC at number 1 and Pittsburgh at number 2 for virtually most of the season. Well, the first 11 games with Pittsburgh not going 11-0, and we all kept saying Green Bay looks the part. Green Bay looks the part, and we said that all year. But we also said that just like with Buffalo, they're not flashy.
Mm-hmm.
They did what they did. They won week after week. They only lost 2 games this year. But they really rose to the occasion when they played LA this past week. They really showed everybody what they got.
3 games. They were 13-3, Green Bay, but still.
That's right. You're right. 13-3.
It's a heck of a season. Yeah.
It is. So I got Green Bay, and I think we both agree it's going to be Green Bay versus Buffalo down there in Tampa Bay in 2 weeks. So good stuff. Those were some good games this weekend. I know we talked a lot with our production the production texting between us off camera during the week. It was a fun weekend to watch football, and it was good for the NFL. They've taken a beating over the last 5 years, and I think this year, and we've talked about it all year, we didn't know that we would be here today talking football here on January 22nd because of COVID and everything that's going on around the world. We had no idea on week 1 if we were going to be here to watch playoff football or anything. Yet here we are. So kudos to the NFL, the staff, the medical personnel, everybody that's involved. It was dicey at times. Tennessee at the beginning of the year, Baltimore had some issues. The Browns had a lot of issues later in the season with COVID, but for the most part, everybody got through it. They didn't miss a game in the season. And here we are in the championship weekend. So kudos to the NFL. I'm really proud of how they handled the season. We watched baseball, shortened season, did the bubble in the NBA with the playoffs. And
think about that. We definitely had a couple big names that were out a couple times. But you're right. It didn't, it didn't slow down much of anything. It was an overall entertaining season. We saw some great play. We didn't see a whole lot of huge, call controversies. Again, one of the closest, of course, we talked about here with the Cleveland non-call, but even that wasn't like an uproar, especially being in the first half. It didn't come down to like the last play of the game and Cleveland wins or loses or something like that.
Right.
And we got I think we're going to have, the first female official, right, in the Super Bowl this year.
Super Bowl, yeah. I don't recall her name, but congratulations to her.
Yeah.
From what I've heard about her, she's been nothing but class act. Works hard at what she does, and respects the game, respects her job, and it's nice to see that. It is.
Yeah, the NFL certainly supported, civil rights and peaceful protest and all that stuff. And players were, I don't recall hearing much noise on that at all. I mean, the players were, if they wanted to kneel, they could kneel. They allowed them to have, messages on the back of the helmet. All the stadiums had some type of positive messaging and stuff like that. Whether you like it or don't like it, it allowed the players to do it, and it wasn't, I didn't hear really anything from that all season long. So again, it's all a lot of good stuff, like you say, for the league this year, and it looks like they're going to get through it. They're going to get through it, and I like the creative Pro Bowl this year stuff they're doing for fun. It's not pull the players and play an extra game. They're doing like a Madden type thing or something like that, and that's fun. Why not? Be creative, and let's not pull players together and everything. And the players, we've mentioned this a few times as well. I mean, the NBA just started a month ago, and you already have, various. Now they play more games, obviously, but there's game postponements and cancels and pushes and stuff like that. And is it different? Yeah, I mean, they're more in the open. There's a lot of factors there and stuff like that. But the players seemed like a lot of them, followed proper protocols outside of the field to keep themselves healthy and
Right.
get through the season, who elected to play and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so entertaining entertaining playoffs and regular season, and here we are, a couple more weeks left. So good stuff.
So, rumor has it, Coach Urban Meyer has moved on from his cushy job in Fox in college football to Jacksonville, Florida. What do you think about that? As
I don't
a
know.
Ohio State fan, it's good luck. We still think of you as Coach Meyer from Ohio, the Ohio State University, and University of Florida, and we'll go even into Utah. The man's been he's a legend in college football. I'm reserved on this hire, and I will get your thoughts on this here in a second. I'm reserved. He left for medical reasons. He's been out for a couple of years. Did he get the medical issues taken care of? Which I don't think it was something that he could do. He needed to be away from stress. But now he's going into a 1-15 Jacksonville that they've got cap space. They have hot draft. They got 11 top 5 or 11 fifth. I think it's 11 picks in the first 5 rounds. They've got buku bucks for cap space for free agency. It's just going to be Urban's team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's the main draw for him. A couple of things probably. It's Florida. He obviously coached down there for a while, and it's not like it's bad weather and stuff like that for him. So it wouldn't surprise me. He coaches for a while and then he retires in Florida and hangs out down there. He's going to get Trevor Lawrence. He's going to get one of the top quarterback talents coming out of college in a while, probably, right? So I'm sure that's his mindset. I'm going to have young talent. I'm good with the young guys. I can mold talent. I can coach quarterbacks, and it'll be interesting. It's just the old adage of will professional players listen to a good college coach? It does happen. Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
There's been a couple that's done it, but it sure doesn't seem like it happens a whole bunch. They don't connect or whatever it is, or they just don't stay around long enough to see if they can build something. So, and then you're right. I mean, he coaches for a while. Seems like the health or something else happens. He flames out, or he gets too stressed, or some combination of those things. So, Jacksonville's certainly rolling the dice there too, and maybe that's fine. Maybe they're just like, look, let's bring in a flashy guy. Let's get someone to coach Trevor, get him up to speed. If he only lasts, 2-3 seasons, and that's fine. Then maybe we see where we are. We got some talent building, and I don't know. It just doesn't feel like we've not seen him in a long-term setting. Where he goes, he wins. To your point, so it'll be interesting. I don't know if I'm Jacksonville, am I overly excited? Yeah, maybe not. If I'm a Jacksonville fan, frankly.
They needed a change. We talked about them all season long. They needed a change in Jacksonville, and this was their opportunity. Pronounce his name correctly. New York Jets hire Robert Saleh.
Yeah, and I'm going
defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. And 49ers being one of my teams, I'm not real familiar with this guy, truthfully.
Yeah, I mean, I know who he is. I've seen him certainly on the sidelines, and I know who he is, and certainly the 49ers, when their defense was intact, one of the better defenses in the league, certainly. So,
they need that in New York.
Yeah, absolutely. So they needed some other voice, somebody to come in there and. So who knows? Definitely he could improve and he could coach defense with the talent there. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough job to walk into, and that's going to take some, But again,
is he going to keep Sam Darnold?
What's that?
Is he going to keep Sam Darnold? We talked about that earlier this year too with him. Is he going to be there next year?
I think so. I mean, I don't think a new coach walks in there and makes a bunch of major changes like that. I mean, I'll be interested to see what maybe they draft a quarterback for a backup to compete.
Mm-hmm.
All the mock drafts I keep seeing is that kid out of BYU, and I don't know much about him, the quarterback over there.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, maybe they bring him in to compete. You never know. So,
Gotcha.
oh well, good for him. I don't know.
Anything's better than what they got in New York right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Atlanta Falcons on January 16th, they hired Arthur Smith, Titans offensive coordinator, as their head coach. That's another name I'm not real familiar with. He's done a nice job in Tennessee the last couple of years. They've been one of those very good offensive teams, He doesn't have the running back in LA, but he's got young, hungry quarterback. They've got a young team. They got a young defense. So I think it's a good hire. I don't see it being a bad hire.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a shock there.
Not a shock, but I'll be curious to see what he does with that offense. With the young quarterback, they need a running back in San Diego or in Atlanta. And I'm thinking of San Diego because that's the next one is Brandon Staley. But Atlanta Falcons, they've got a good core in Atlanta. Let's see if they can figure out how to win the games instead of figuring out how to lose them like they did this year.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's a tough job because you got the quarterback's going to on the verge of retirement probably. You got another season or two with him, and then I don't know. We'll see. But again,
who's behind? And I'm not Alex Smith, but who's behind the?
I don't even know.
String? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to draw a blank. Anyway, sorry, fans. We're just kind of eating our words here. We'll move on. Los Angeles Chargers. They hired Brandon Staley, January 17th, as their new head coach, which was kind of surprising. They took him. They almost announced that right after the game on Saturday. Well, it was Sunday that they announced it, but they took no time in saying that he was their man. Good hire, I think.
Well, Rams D's been one of the, I think, the highest ranked defense this season as far as points allowed and all of that. So obviously you got some talent there, but clearly he could coach the talent that he had over there. So yeah, it's interesting.
Right.
They got some offense. They got the young quarterback and everything, and we'll see. We'll see what happens there. A lot of these guys I'm just not super familiar with. I think it's just kind of up and coming coordinators and stuff.
Dan Campbell has been hired Detroit Lions quarterback, and we talked about that on off camera before the show. That is going to be an interesting one. I think we're going to be paying attention to Detroit next year just because of the head coach.
Yeah, the press conference, we were talking about this off camera. The press conference with him was a lot of people were comparing him to the PC principal.
PC principal. Yep.
Yeah. On South Park there, that guy, he looks similar, and he's like a big, gruff, like super, that press conference he had, it was, it's like, we're going to get knocked down and we're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to take part of your knee with us. And then you're going to knock us down again. Then we're going to get up and take out the other knee. And then sooner or later, we're going to be the one standing and you're going to be the one down. And it's just like, what in the hell are you talking about? It's just like one of those things to where it's like, our first couple episodes of reality football, it's like we're probably halfway through a thought and just like,
and then moved on.
I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just talking right now. I don't know how to get out of it. I don't know how to stop it. I'm just going to keep talking, and I have no filter. That's it. And there you go. That was just if you have not seen that, anybody out there, the Dan Campbell press, go back and watch that on YouTube or whatever it is, and you will get yourself a smile. And then go back and compare it to one of the PC principals clips from South Park out there. So, yeah, boy, oh boy. I mean, just the press conferences alone are going to be amazing because they're going to lose games. and it'd be fun to watch this guy kind of lose his mind and get out there, and it's going to be interesting. So anyway,
Interesting.
that's
So
at
yeah,
least it's something to talk about in Detroit besides
right.
mediocrity of late. So hope they do well. Detroit's another team. Like, come on, man! It's like it'd be nice to see those fans win
Right.
something over there, for crying out loud. Well, that's another heartache city in football for years and years. So hopefully he could do something there. I don't know.
Yeah, there's two other teams, Philadelphia Eagles. There's rumor that Nick Sirianni is going to be hired there, but that's not confirmed. And the Houston Texans are still looking for a head coach. So those are probably the last two jobs available
Hmm.
For next year. So will be interesting to see how that unfolds. Well, it's been hard to believe an hour's almost gone by already.
Wow. Okay.
Talking about 4 games and some head coaching, and boom. Hope we didn't bore the fans too much, not having Mr. Personality Coach Cooper and Mr. Other Personality Keith Porter here. We do miss them, and hope they are both doing well and recover well. But yeah, I had fun, Fish. This was a fun hour. I appreciate you taking one for the team like we did with just the two of us. I hope we were kept up the reality football legacy, if you want to call it that.
You're sounding like Dan Campbell.
I did that for a reason. I did that for a reason.
I have a thought. I don't know where it's going.
Right.
In reality football, you're going to knock us down.
You're going to knock us down.
Take out your kneecap getting up. And
then I'm going to have surgery and get the other knee. No, I did that on purpose. Just
I hope
it just didn't come out that way.
All right. I hope so.
So big plans for the games this weekend before we sign off here?
I am probably going to go over to Cunningham's, our friend Cunningham, maybe hang out over there and watch it. Stay inside. Just stay inside with friends and watch the game. I'm going to head out to Barberton, beautiful downtown Barberton, Ohio this evening, and have a couple beers at a microbrew and chill out there. So how about you?
Not much. Probably game night with some friends, and that's about it. We stay at home, stay safe, stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
As we talked about off camera, with the new house comes new problems, and unfortunately, we've had a bit of a sewer problem at the house that we bought, but we're getting that taken care of. So, but yeah, no, just stay home, stay safe, enjoy some football, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that sounds pretty crappy.
You have no idea.
Excuse me.
Crappy New Year is what they would say, but anyway.
Sorry,
Nope. So one more time, you can if you're listening to us on WNVU.org, you can find us on Facebook, find us on YouTube, #Reality Football 1. Find us on TikTok, find us on Instagram and Twitter, and look
podcast.
Up the podcasting at look for Reality Football. It's your podcast authority.
That's right. And I forgot to mention, you can email the show at realityfootball1@gmail.com. Mail us your comments and questions, and we'll one more. Well, one more to do. Two more. We'll do a championship recap, Super Bowl preview, and Super Bowl recap, and that will be it for this season. So email us if you would like, and
absolutely.
So thanks for your support out there, for sure.
So it's been fun. Enjoy the football games this weekend, and we will see each other on air next week.
All right, brother. We'll see you soon.
All right. So for Reality Football, I am Skinbone Mike Skinner.
Brian Fisher, Fish.
Folks, have a great evening, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everybody.